Today's verse is Exodus chapter 10, verse 1 through 2. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go to Pharaoh, for I have handed his heart and the hearts of his officials so that I may perform these signs of mine among them, that you may tell your children and grandchildren how I dealt harshly with the Egyptians and how I performed my signs among them, and that you may know that I am the Lord." Do you remember what we talked about last week? It was the story of Moses meeting God in the burning bushes. Today is the story of Moses visiting to King Pharaoh by obeying God's command. Moses and his brother Aaron spoke before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. "Let my people go, so that they may hold the festival to me in the wilderness." Pharaoh said,
"Who is the Lord, that I should obey him and let Israel go? I do not know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go."
Moses said again earnestly, "If you don't let the people go now, a terrible disaster will come. I am afraid of it." King Pharaoh told Moses and Aaron,
"Moses and Aaron, why are you taking the people away from their labor?"
Then Pharaoh said,
"Get back to your work. Look, the people of the land are now numerous, and you are stopping them from working."
King Pharaoh did not listen to Moses' warning. Not only that, Moses and Aaron returned. The King Pharaoh gave orders.
"You are no longer to supply the people with straw for making bricks. Let them go and gather their own straw, but require them to make the same number of bricks as before. Don't reduce the quota. They are lazy. That is why they are crying out, 'Let us go and sacrifice to our God.' Make the work harder for the people so that they keep working and pay no attention to lies."
King Pharaoh ignored Moses' warning and ordered to make the Israelites harder. When King Pharaoh continued to stubborn and ignored Moses' warning of God, God, according to that warning, brought 10 terrible plagues to Egypt. This terrible plague continued, but King Pharaoh did not let the Israelites go until the end. Finally, God threw the 10th plague. This 10th plague was a terrible catastrophe in which everyone's first child and the first offspring of all animals died. But God especially taught Moses how to avoid the 10th most terrifying plague. The method was to apply sheep's blood to the front door of the house. God gave the final judgment that night. As God promised, all those who painted sheep's blood at the door were not judged. But the first child of all those who ignored God's warnings died. One of the first child to be killed was the king's son. After this final judgment, King Pharaoh released the Israelites. God prepared Moses, who killed a man and ran away in Midian, and when God's time came, he met Moses at Mount Horeb. And Moses was used by God as a leader to free God's people from slavery in Egypt. The only reason Moses could experience this miracle was by obeying God's commandment. When Moses first visited King Pharaoh, he was afraid. But he was convinced that God was with him. He realized that the real king was God and was able to speak boldly to King Pharaoh. On the other hand, King Pharaoh was judged in this way because he did not know who God was and he did not obey his command. If Pharaoh realized that God was Almighty God, he would have heard Moses' words and was not judged. In particular, the judgment of the death of the first son in the last plague is a judgment that accurately explains how God saves us. Just as God said that anyone who puts sheep's blood in front of the door will not be judged, even if it was a person like Pharaoh, if you believe in your heart that Jesus died for us and rose again, he will not be judged. We will not be judged. I bless you also to obey God, the real King, and to hold on to God and believe in Jesus, the Son of God, who saved us. 4월 넷째 주 준비물을 꺼내주시기 바랍니다. 가위와 테이프도 준비를 해주세요. 오늘은 10가지 제한 액티비티를 해볼 건데요. 자, 저 종이에 보면은 그림이 있죠? 이 그림을 사모님을 따라서 자르면서 이거를 모빌로 만들어 볼 거예요. 보면서 잘 따라해 보세요. 자, 먼저 저렇게 잘라주시고요. 다음 옆에 있는 장도 똑같이 저렇게 잘라주세요. 이렇게 잘라주신 다음에 이렇게 잘라주세요.
이거는 멍멍이랑 소랑 깡충깡충깡충 토끼랑
자, 저기를 저렇게 합칠 건데요. 가운데 부분에 테이프가 붙지 않도록 조심해 주시기를 바랍니다. 자, 저기 손가락으로 가르치는 부분에 저희가 준비해드린 양면 테이프를 붙여서 이제 같은 모양과 겹쳐줄 건데요. 아까 말한 그 가운데 부분이 테이프에 붙지 않도록 조심히 붙여주시기를 바랍니다.
예쁘게 붙여주면 돼요. 이 부분이 구멍이 뚫려 있으면 됩니다.
제 부분도 이렇게 접어주세요.
그 다음에는
이 부분과 이 부분이 네모나게 접어주세요.
메뚜기네. 메뚜기가 이번에는 그 다음에 아까 메뚜기가 뭐 하는 걸리는 줄 알았나? 가끔 있어. 메뚜기는 뭐 하는 걸리냐면 우리가 먹는 밥을 야금야금 먹어버리는 존재들이야. 그래서 사람들이 메뚜기랑 너무 불쌍했어요. 살려주세요 하나님. 그러면 진짜로 이번에는 약속 지키는 거야.
여기도 이렇게 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯 개 양면 테이프를 붙여주신 다음에 떼어서 같은 부분과 겹쳐주세요.
자, 이렇게
이제 모비를 만들어 줄 건데요. 가위로 저렇게 가운데를 구멍을 넓혀 주세요. 자, 이런 거를 사용하시면 끈을 좀 더 쉽게 모빌에 달 수 있습니다. 빼낸 줄에 비드를 넣어주세요. 그 다음 중간 크기의 모빌을 다시 똑같이 가운데를 넓혀서 줄을 통과시켜 주세요. 자, 이렇게 하면 10가지 제한 액티비티가 완성되었습니다. 모두 수고 많으셨습니다. 자, 아벨아, 오늘 말씀에서 이 바로 왕이 모세의 말을 무시하자 하나님께서 10가지 재앙을 내리셨죠? 만약에 바로가 하나님이 전능하신 분인 줄 알았더라면 모세의 말을 듣고 바로 백성들을 보내줬을 거예요. 계속 불순종했기 때문에 바로는 벌을 받은 거예요. 아벨이도 하나님이 전능하신 하나님인 걸 믿고 그 말씀에 꼭 순종하는 아벨이가 되길 바래요. 아가씨? 아멘?